Ahoy, hoy. Let's see how many people come back as I put my hand right in front of the camera. Obscure the moneymaker. I deleted the other video, so I will redo all my intros. Hey, there's Jay. Do I sound better, Jay? Do I sound grainy? See my microphone. Turn up for what? Okay, so gotta adjust my chair. So, I put the post out into several of the better groups, the groups I like, and got some topics for the state of the game. For me, this is not a usual live video. This is not just, hey, let's talk about whatever, though I will happily talk about more things as people filter in. I thank all of you for showing up, especially after the blurst cluster fest that just happened. Thank you, Ricky. Sincerely, thank you. So I'm more just kind of wanting to talk with all of us that want to view where we are after 2 years of a hopefully once in a lifetime global pandemic, which it also encompasses the entirety of ClixNexus's life, which will never stop being funny to me. So I have a few topics here. I was going to talk it over with Jay, but we're blurst. So it's just me in my nice collared shirt and my official professional hat. So where do we begin? Let's start at the beginning. Let's talk about price increases, because it's all anybody wants to talk about, understandably. Anytime something you like or enjoy costs more money, it's not fun. It hits the wallets. It just becomes a problem. Hey, new Mark. So nobody likes paying more money for the same thing. Fair. Some people can't, with Disney Plus, we're going to be paying $17 for a booster. That's not in the budget for some people. That's not in the budget for some people. I don't know how many. What I like to hold in context, or the perspective I like to remind everybody of, is that we did not have a price increase on regular MSRP for 10 years, roughly, give or take. We had 10 years of stagnant prices in a collectible game market where the figures are made of plastic. Oil prices have gone up and down. Oil prices have fluctuated. But we kept paying the same price for 5-figure boosters for 10 years. That's crazy. That's I've seen in some areas where people have come out and just said, like, WizKids is just greedy. They're just trying to grab cash and da-da-da-da-da. Even with 2 price increases in a year, that's not, you can't say that. You can, I mean, you say whatever you want. But when you look at the facts, it's not true. It doesn't make it any easier to swallow. But we got away with something for a long time. Prices were artificially deflated for a long time. I mean, think about even Jay's right. Even when we had the super boosters, like until Dark Phoenix, they didn't really go up that much. And they did all these gimmicks where it was, okay, well, we'll put 2 super boosters in a brick, so you're really only paying like $20 more on the whole for these, 2 big things. Like, I get it. I respect anybody. I said this when prices went up with House of X. I respect anybody who says that's too much. I can't afford it. I can't buy in bulk like I once did. I get it. That's completely, that's the way, that's life, man. Like, it's just how it works. I shared recently with some of the guys. I have a friend that plays Magic. And so I'm scrolling through Facebook, and Magic had their, like, what would you change about Magic? Like, if you just had the magic wand, what would you change about Magic? And my friend, who has a kid, might have a second kid on the way, has a kid, said, and has been playing Magic for years, used to play Clix, first thing he said, stop raising prices. Now, I see in the HeroClix groups people all the time be like, well, Magic's way cheaper than HeroClix, and they don't have to, like, it's all what you're doing, man. It's all what you're doing. Like, McDonald's is cheaper than a steakhouse. But that doesn't mean McDonald's still isn't too expensive for some people. Like, some people still can't go out and just go get a Big Mac. Like, it's choices. And it sucks if you are the person making that choice. It sucks if you're the person that's just like, I can't play anymore, man. And I feel for you. But that doesn't mean that WizKids is doing anything wrong. Like, they have bills to pay, just like I have bills to pay, just like Newmark has bills to pay, just like Jay has bills to pay. Like, they're in business. And there are things you can be critical of WizKids about that I may talk about. I say that forgetting instantly what I already told you I was going to talk about. But price increases ain't one of them. We have lived through a gilded age, my friend. I mean, what was it? From the original prices to 10 years or so ago, till about Superman, they raised prices multiple times because production changed. It went from 4-figure boosters to 5-figure boosters. And, we had the feat cards for a while. And, around, I don't know if you remember, but around 2008, gas prices went through the roof again. So, things... Listen, Aries, don't be mad just because Facebook likes me more than you. I am dressed more professionally than you. See, look. So yeah, it's just... Let me scroll through comments because Ricky made a good point too. Yeah, Ricky, I buy singles and sealed events. I buy occasional single boosters, but don't buy cases and bricks. Don't buy in bulk. I mean, I'm taller than you. Literally, you have to ride my coattails. I don't think I can ride your coattails. Anyway, doesn't matter. I love Aries. I wish Aries was back for live videos. I wish Aries could be. Jay can't be on with me. Aries can't be on with me. I'm not really happy just being here with my Rocketeer. There we go. Anyway, but no. There's just a tiny symbol. Colossus, my buddy Colossus. We talk about it all the time. When Origins was going, we wouldn't buy real big into the set that was going to be in Battle Royals. Because you go to Battle Royals, you get extra stuff, because it's at a convention. You get figures anyway. And here's a little secret, guys. People leave extras all the time. So if you're going to something that's having a big event with Battle Royals, you can fill out a collection real fast. Because people will be like, yeah, take it. Take whatever you want. I got 8 of those. I don't need it. Like, so it sucks. I don't mean to diminish how it feels to be like, I can't play this game I like anymore. But there are ways to do it. You still own the figures you own. And it's not... There's no bad guy here. Like, it's just life. It's just the way it is. It's just the way... I've seen people leave super rares at Origins BRs. But yes, Jay, you are correct. It's just the way it is, and I kind of did that because I don't want to talk about prices anymore. I don't. What are we going to say? Sell it to us cheaper? Okay, cool. If they would, they could, because they did. They sold it to us cheaper. I said this before House of X raised prices. HeroClix has been too cheap for too long. It just has. They didn't want to raise the prices because they know their numbers. And they know that losing sales cannot necessarily be made up with increased prices. Oh, the box of shame. It's just, and here's the other thing. This is actually the other thing. As I just said, I don't want to talk about prices anymore. Let's talk about prices. Some people need to remember when you go into a store, when you go into your game store, your comic store, wherever you buy Clix, let's say you grab a Disney Plus booster. It's $17 and you pay $17 plus tax, whatever. You pay MSRP. That store did not make $17. They pay a certain amount to bring the product in, plus shipping, and then they make the difference between that and MSRP. So when you pay $17 for a booster, the store doesn't make $17. WizKids doesn't make $17. The distributor doesn't make $17. So we're looking at a $2 increase. Maybe WizKids gets 50 cents per booster. Now, do you think 50 cents is too much? If the booster had gone up, sorry for blocking my beautiful face. If the booster had gone up 50 cents, would everyone be losing their mind? Oh my God, WizKids are so greedy. They're raising the price 50 cents. They're just trying to gouge us. No. But for them to get 50 cents, the price has to go up $2 because there's this thing that more people have heard about in the last 6 months called a supply chain, and everyone along there does a job. I'll mark that down for later. Marketing. Business ethics. I agree, Aries. So, all that being said, I don't want to talk about pricing anymore. I don't want people to bring up they're the novel geniuses. If WizKids can sell it to us cheaper while still paying their bills, they will. You can't say that for every company, but they've earned that. They kept prices low for a decade when they didn't have to. Moving on. The question asked was, will no DC set this year kill the game? Way to load the question, sir. First off, no. Let's just say there's no DC set this year, which there's no good reason to assume that. But let's just say we don't get a DC set this year. It's not going to kill the game. It can't. Because I have friends. I have 2 friends in this chat who are huge DC fans. And I love them, and I hate that they don't get DC sets. But we all know we get 1 DC set a year at best, and we get like 3 or 4 Marvel. If DC was the big money maker keeping WizKids afloat, we'd be getting 3 DC sets and 1 Marvel. Or if it was even, we get 2 and 2. We get 1 DC set because they can afford to only do 1 DC set. Because we also know, and again, I've said this before, this is through the years, DC is more hands-on with their license. Action figure companies have said it. Toy manufacturers, T-shirts, merchandise, tchotchkes, retainers, rubber duckies. DC cares about how their characters are presented and that things are in line. So like when the new 52 was out, they want the new 52 version of these characters on merch. They don't want the classic version. They don't want the George Perez version. They want new 52. I lost my train of thought there because of Jay's comment. So, even with that, that's where I was going with this. Even with that, even with them being DC, being who they are, if it was a matter of HeroClix sinking or swimming, I promise you, again, WizKids would be pushing, going, whatever we have to do, we need to figure this out. We need to have more than 1 set a year. If that means we need to be running things by you 3 sets at a time to get your approval, they would do it. DC, just without knowing any numbers and without speaking authoritatively, it clearly doesn't sell what Marvel does, or they can clearly make up the difference by putting out more Marvel sets. And I say this as a Ninja Turtles fan. When that license went away, the game didn't die. I was happier when it was here. People bought it when it was here. And then when it wasn't, the game soldiered on. We'll double back on that. The larger point that I want to go to with this is the danger of asking and then making assumptions. So the whole reason this kind of came up, because we used to get this where when we went too long without a DC set, people would be like, oh no, they lost the license. based on nothing, and then we get another DC set, and those people would not go, oh, my bad, I was wrong. They would just wait for another gap to go, oh no, they lost the license. A gentleman asked WizKids social media, hey, is there anything you can tell us about a DC set? You know, plans, whatever. And the WizKids social media, I am paraphrasing here, said, there are no plans that we are going to announce right now, which is a boilerplate social media response. Up until this point, everything I've told you, there's nothing wrong. I would never email a company's social media and be like, hey, can you announce something you haven't announced yet? But there's no harm in it. Like, you're not a bad person for doing it. You're not setting things on fire. You're just asking a question. The answer was fine. The answer was boilerplate corporate speak. No problem. Then what happened was that person shared that response. Okay, still nothing wrong. And then said, oh no, we're not getting a DC set this year. And then other people said, oh no, we're not getting a DC set this year. That's where the problem comes in. You're not reading what was said. You're not listening to what was said. Whether we get a DC set or we don't get a DC set, that will be an announcement of some form. Even if it's, we have the solicits all the way to the end of the year and there's no DCs. Or, hey, here's a DC set coming in December. Because they love trying to put stuff out in December now. Saying we don't have anything we can announce right now is not saying there's not going to be a set. Like, that's just not how things work. And for those that don't remember, because whether people realize it or not, there are lots of new players. WizKids, absent any contracts, let's because none of us see the contracts, none of us know what's in the contracts. So whatever. Absent any contracts. WizKids had Street Fighter. WizKids put out a Street Fighter set. WizKids solicited Street Fighter 2 and showed sculpts from it. License got pulled. Now WizKids has to sit there and deal with people going like, well, I thought we were getting a second Street Fighter set. What happened to that second Street Fighter set? We had sculpts from it. What did you do? What did you do? What did you do? Based on that experience alone, until the plastic's hitting the molds, and until that set is in production and it's in the chain of it's coming and we're going to release it, I wouldn't announce anything. They had sculpts. I can't remember if they showed a card, because this is in the Dark Ages when we didn't get that much information. But they showed M. Bison, and they showed something else. But M. Bison looked really cool, so everybody remembers M. Bison. They showed sculpts. That set was in production, like as far as design, whatever. License got pulled. We never saw it again. Do you wonder why they aren't going to announce something until... thank you, Vinny. They aren't going to announce something until they know it's coming. I always forget about Nightmare Before Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas was a HeroClix set. Like, this is something I missed. I was around at the time and something. This is something I missed. And Jay actually found it last year, I think. Maybe 2020. Time has lost all meaning. And showed, like, there was going to be Nightmare Before Christmas HeroClix. Not minis. HeroClix with dials. Gone. There's a gravity feed box at the con. Gone. Hey, Emily. So, when you say, it wasn't Tiny Toons. It was like Toon something, because it was the Golden Scooby. But yes, like, that's just it. You've been around long enough, you see, like, this is multiple things where they were just like, oh, well, no, it's fine. It's going to get made. We can announce it. Oh, it'll get made. We can announce it. Yeah, they're 20 years in. They ain't announcing anything until it's getting made. They're not wrong. They're right to do that. That is, again, assuming there's nothing in their contracts saying they can't do it, it's still the right choice to just be like, nah, brah, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll announce it. Even this, Avengers Assemble, it was around that time. We had, oh God, I can't think of his name. It's from the it's all going out of my head right now. Starbrand. Got it. We had the Starbrand. It was in the solicit. It was going to be in the set. Never showed up in the set. Showed up 2 sets later. Same figure, same sculpt, and it was a Prime. Samuel Clemens. I know you said Enterprise, but Samuel Clemens. Samuel Clemens was a prize piece for Star Trek. Was solicited. Samuel Clemens. Mark Twain, for those that don't know. Didn't come out. Like, they do learn. They do understand that it's not good to get people's expectations up and then have something happen. Or it just doesn't happen. I'm not talking about that, Ricky. That's something different, but I'm not talking about that. But yeah, so like, if something isn't happening, if something is canceled, okay, but don't, like, they clearly operate under no news is good news. They try. They try. So, like, just calm down, guys. Calm down. And I'm not even going to entertain the Comics Gate, oh, well, DC's going to go under. Like, no. That's not, no. Sorry. That Comics Gate has been saying that for 6 years, and here we are. Matt Groenhide. If I say that wrong, Matt, let me know. I don't say it a lot, but my last name's Pangrazio. I'm sympathetic to saying people's names right. Asked, he did a little bit flowery, but at the end of the day, is this even a cross-universe game anymore? Because we get one DC set a year, bunch of Marvel, and nothing else. And my answer to that is yes. Absolutely. This will always be a cross-universe game. Because I still have a box of Turtles that I can play whenever I want. I still have WWE Wave 1 that I can play whenever I want. I still have, they're down there, I'm not going to bend over because of the mic, Gears of War that I can play whenever I want. I don't have any Halo because my one buddy got it all, and he loved Halo, so I let him have it. I still have Indie that I can play whenever I want. Format doesn't even matter, though format is correct. This will always be a cross-universe game because the majority of the game is played at local venues and at home. They're casual games. The even weekly venue games don't make up necessarily the majority of HeroClix played. Those figures don't get taken away. Like, Justin Zieren's not going to come into my apartment and be like, hand over the Turtle Clix, man. Like, that's not happening. Now, yes, in Modern, it's very Marvel. It's very Marvel dominant. And I wish that wasn't the case. Not because I don't like Marvel. Secret, I buy more Marvel sets than I do DC. But it's better for the game to have it not be dominated by any one IP. I'm going to jump around because of that. Because right now, if something happened, if Disney got a bug up their ass and said, we're pulling the Marvel license, I don't think the game would survive that. Because that's what they produce. Right now, this is a Marvel-dominant modern age. New product is Marvel. That's a problem. That's a problem for WizKids. Because, let's go into it. So that, yes, it is a cross-universe game. Somebody else asked about new IP for Clix. As someone who has been judging and really following the game for the last 10 years, like I came back to it, actually more than that now because time has lost all meaning. I came back to it in 2010, so 12 years. When I look back, it seems like the game was its healthiest as far as attendance in the NECA era when we had like 5 licenses. We had Marvel, we had DC, we had Street Fighter, we had Assassin's Creed, we had Gears of War, we had Tolkien Clix, which was Lord of the Rings, then Hobbit, we had Yu-Gi-Oh!, we had Halo. We had all these licenses over this 5-year stretch where, you know, we didn't get a Gears of War set every year, but we got a Gears of War set. We got a Halo set. We got a Street Fighter set, like I talked about. And every one of those sets brought people into the game. Because people would have friends that played HeroClix, so they'd go to their local store, or, I mean, the video game clicks were in GameStops, so people would go to GameStop and be like, oh, hey, what's this? I like Gears of War. I like Street Fighter. I like, whatever. I'm not going to keep repeating. But they'd see it and be like, oh, what's this? I'll give it a try. And then some people would stick with it and some people wouldn't. Again, my one friend loved Halo. He liked comic books. He liked Marvel and DC. He liked that stuff. But when he found out there was Halo clicks, he lost his mind. I think he ended up getting a brick of it because that was, big purchase. And he just was over the moon. And we'd play Gears of War versus Halo. And he loved it. And then, as we whittled it down and we had fewer licenses, you have fewer people coming in because we've had Marvel and DC for 20 years. There's not this great undiscovered, untapped group of players that are super Marvel and DC fans and have never heard of HeroClix. When I do comic conventions, when I go to stores, when I travel, and it's geek-centric, it's comic-centric, it's Marvel and DC-centric. I hear it all the time. Oh yeah, I used to play HeroClix. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of those in the basement. Oh yeah, my buddy used to play that. I tried it out. It wasn't for me. I stopped playing. I got too expensive. Whatever. Those people aren't coming back. They can. I'm not saying they're banished. But, War of the Realms isn't going to make them be like, oh my god, I have to go back to HeroClix. Exo Swords isn't going to make them be like, oh my god, I have to go back to HeroClix. It's just more of, I think Vinny is an example of this. Oh, you got kids. Let me play here. Let me pull out my HeroClix with my kid. I'll play HeroClix with my kid. Oh, this is fun. Let me grab some stuff as I go. That's what pulls people back in. Oh, my buddy's been playing it. You know what? I just moved back to town. We play every Friday now. That's what pulls people back into it. New blood, fresh blood, is going to come from other licenses. And if it were me, if I had the magic wand to do what I want with WizKids, I'd start investing in public domain IP. And honestly, they got all these board games. Start pulling those characters over if you can. I mean, contracts are contracts. I don't know what the deal is, but Zombie Princess, make an undead set with a Zombie Princess figure. Now, are you going to pull those board game players that like Zombie Princess over? Maybe, maybe not. It's worth a shot. If the sculpt's cool, somebody might buy the board game. Oh, how about that? Just crazy thought. Synergy. But no, I think it's, oh boy. Oh, Don Vinny. You and me and the pulps. Let's slow down there. Slow down there, partner. But no, that's what I think is important because we're 20 years in on licensing agreements. It's miraculous that we still get Marvel and DC clicks at all. Like, I don't know if you can point at another game, or maybe Playmates didn't have the Turtles license for 20 years, and they started Turtle action figures. 20-year licensing agreements are unheard of in the modern era. Unheard of it before because there weren't really licensing agreements. But it's gonna end. It has to. All things end. So if there's not WizKids original HeroClix content or an aggressive licensing deal, like Transformers, G.I. Joe, whatever, they may not be possible, but as an example, if they're not aggressively seeking out those licenses, there's going to come a day where it's gone. It's done. Because and again, I don't know. I know nothing about the contracts, and I'm trying to reiterate that. But if they get whacked and license gets pulled and they don't have time, we're not going to have a 6-month gap and then all of a sudden, not just HeroClix players, Jay, comic, everybody, nobody understands IP law. In fairness, I've had lawyers that work in IP law say, I don't really understand it, just enough to get by. But, they're not going to have a 6-month gap and all of a sudden come out with Undead 3. We're skipping 2, why not? Or whatever. HeroClix Tabletop So the HeroClix Online, whatever. HeroClix Originals. HeroClix Originals. That's a good name, actually. They're not going to suddenly come out with that set and have the same momentum. You want to feed that in. You want to thread that in. But that's not happening. Just Alien and Predator is a Disney license. They don't necessarily have access to a Disney license. I would love to get Alien and Predator sets. I would love to get a Gargoyle set. There's all kinds of sets I would love to get. But at the end of the day, I don't care what set we get. I want there to be additional licenses because it will grow the game and it's good for the game. In my opinion and my experience. But can't make anybody do anything. Especially not a company that doesn't answer to me. While we're talking about the death of the game. Will no tournament support kill the game? Hot take. Nope. Tournaments aren't what drive this game. Tournaments, even weekly tournaments, aren't what drive this game. Collectors and home players drive this game. If you just look at the numbers, and I was actually thinking I should have done that, but if you look at the numbers in normal times, the number of people, so you can look at the win and you can see how many people play at a venue on a weekly basis. There are venues that don't use the win, and most, I would dare say 99% of home players don't use the win. So all those people aren't accounted for. The win has, I don't know, maybe a few thousand players. I haven't looked that are active. It has, over the history, there's multiples, but I have 6 win accounts because I made dummy accounts for people that didn't have win accounts when they played at the store. It's not that I actually personally am trying to game the system because you don't get anything from having a win account. But I have 6. So those people are an amalgamation of people. Like, one of those accounts for 10 people. So it's all fuzzy numbers. But when you talk about the big events, you talk about Origins, WKOs, Worlds, even a couple years we had States. That's a very small portion of HeroClix play, of HeroClix consumers, because there are collectors. There are people who just like the figures and just buy what they like. Or, this is something I shared with Aries, and if I had a more advanced setup, I would actually pop up. Maybe I'll show it later. There's also people that buy the figures just to use them in different games. I am a part of a Facebook group for the AUGS system. I think it was the Adventures Universe game system. It was what IDW did. It was when they did Turtles and Batman, because I got the Turtles game. And I see pictures all the time of HeroClix stripped from their bases and put on mini bases to be used in the AUGS system. Somebody just posted a picture a couple of weeks ago of a Brainiac skull ship, the purple one, stripped from its base, about to attack JLU, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern, stripped from their base. People use them for minis. Jay, I've sold people HeroClix for D&D. People use them as minis. Those are not HeroClix players. Those are HeroClix consumers. They're still buying, whether secondary market or at their local store or whatever. They're still buying the product, but they're never playing the game. They have no idea what the game is, to a certain extent. That they're important. They're important. But when you talk about, to go back to my original point, because I get distracted by myself. When you look at the big tournaments, you're talking about 200 people, maybe, max. 200 people at Origins, 200 people at Worlds, max. If you include Battle Royale players, because there are people that travel just to play Battle Royals, and if you want to say, well, yeah, okay, fine, include them, I don't care. You're still getting up to 300. And then if you do, some people go 1 year, some people don't go another, so they go home and they have a couple people from their local venues, okay, 500. So let's say there's 500 meta players that travel. This game can't survive on 500 people, many of whom don't buy product. The game is driven by people that buy product, and the majority of people that buy product don't play in tournaments. Whether because they can't because of time, they don't want to, or whatever, somewhere in between. So, will no tournament support kill the game? No. Game's still alive. The meta scene is dead. But, you can get more. Like, it'll happen. When people start playing, I have plans for this summer. I want to do something. As we open up, as people feel more comfortable, that will just be its own thing. That will come back. Yeah. I think that's a fair number, Jay. How many individual people have ever played an event WizKids have run, such as Nationals or Worlds? I would say 1,000 max. I think that's in the NEC era. If you go over 20 years, yeah, it's more than that. But if you talk about the last 5 years, I think that's fair. I think it's a fair number. You watch, we've run those numbers, Ricky. Roster easily has at least 30 people that will go to weekly venues, at least. 2 or 3 of us will actually go to Origins or Philly or Worlds or wherever it is. It's not the number of people who don't care about this little bubble is just incredibly significant. And again, like before, not to diminish, there's people, I love going to Origins. I love it. I have missed not going to Origins the last 2 years. In my heart and soul, I have missed it. I've missed seeing people. I have missed the food. I've missed the fun, stupid we have. The stupid fun we have. I've missed it. So I'm not saying you're dumb if you go to a convention, because I'm dumb. I go to conventions. I enjoy it. But it's not the world. We're closer, Jay, but yeah. We're close. We're closer, but you're also across the international border. Didn't used to be, but so no. Yes, I would love for there to be tournament support. Yes, I would love for there to be more ways to play. I just shared, because I happened to find them, the old pictures from HeroClix Online. I would love for there to be a WizKids sanctioned, easily accessible way to play, to draw people into the physical game, and or just supplement WizKids revenue stream. That's what I want to say. I would love that. I would love to get to the point where we could really organize these big online events with simple controls on simple machine. That's for somebody, somebody said, Roll20 can be run on any potato of a computer. Yes, that's the point. Not everybody has a gaming rig. I don't have a gaming rig anymore. And I used to game on my computer. I was never heavy, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's not about me. But you want something that's accessible. If we could have something that was on a phone app, it'd be great. I don't know if it's really possible. But if you want the game to grow, that's how you grow the game. I can run it on my phone. Anyone can, again, not to be insulting, but any idiot can run it on their phone. All right, cool. Then you're going to get more players. And then there's going to be those people I only want to play online. I don't want to pay anything. And then there's going to be those people wait a minute, I can actually own some of this stuff. I can have I can have a big Galactus. That's awesome. That's how you grow the game, guys. You don't grow the game by just handing each other awards and playing King of the Hill. You play the game by getting people excited about all the fun you can have with this game. Nobody gets into this game to be a champion. I'm sorry. You don't. Because when I bought my first boosters, there wasn't a world championship. I'm that old. But even when I got back into it, I didn't know there was a world championship. I didn't know that was a thing. It was not on my mind at all. I literally had a guy go, what are these? Oh, that's HeroClix. They're these really cool little minis. You can play a game with them. Oh, that's cool. Let me buy a couple boosters. That's how I got in the game, man. There's more of those stories then I'm going to be king of the HeroClix world. Like, nah, get out of here. Yeah. I have a weird, but that's not about this. I have a weird relationship with the timing of things with HeroClix, but no, get out of that bubble. Get out of that headspace. Because it's real easy to be like, oh man, we're not going to have any tournaments. Oh man, the game's going to die. Oh man, this sucks. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then you get depressed, and then you get like, man, it's not worth it. What am I doing this for? So, no, like, find some friends to play with if you can. If you feel comfortable playing online, play online. I mean, I haven't played... At one point, I was playing 2 to 3 games a week. Easily 2. 2 tournaments a week for HeroClix. I've played maybe 10 tournaments in the last year. Like, I miss it, but it'll come back in some way. Even if I get my buddies to start playing and we just, hell, me and Ricky and Colossus, we've all said to each other, more me and Ricky, but we've all said to each other, hey, we gotta get together and play HeroClix because we enjoy playing HeroClix with each other. Which goes to other things I've said multiple ways, and I'll reiterate all the time, but that's where it's like, you want to be somebody that's fun to play against. You don't want to be the guy that's a pain. You don't want to be the guy that's like, you're not going to get a second turn. Like, nobody wants to play against that guy. Nobody does. Sometimes you want to beat him, but nobody enjoys playing against that guy. I am really rambling, and I appreciate all of you that are here, like, with me for this, taking this journey with me. Yeah, okay. Christopher Little. My brother-in-law started collecting them, and then it turned into a family thing when we figured out it was a strategy game. Yes. Like, so many people. That's how they get into the game. And that's why, to double back, that's why licenses matter. Because people collect licenses. I know nothing about that. But people collect licenses. I know nothing about that. But people collect licenses. And then, brother-in-law, nephew, niece. Oh yeah, here's my stuff. Here's my, things. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, do you know that's a game? What's it called? HeroClix. Oh, do you know that's a game? I did not know that was a game. Well, let's look it up. Let's figure this out. Yeah. Oh, Devin. But that's how you do it. And, it's Marvel and DC. If you do what you always done, you're going to get what you always got. You're aiming right at that same lane. You're hitting that same target. And it's pulverized. And that doesn't mean stop producing those, because people enjoy them. Keep producing them. But, you need fresh blood. Fresh blood reinvigorates us. I've said it before. Justin Hafford, if you follow the site at all, he's doing a whole bunch of 3D printing stuff. He's got something coming soon-ish, whatever, on his timetable, but he's got stuff coming soon. He's come up with ideas that I think are great in the HeroClix Makers group. Somebody came up with these cool ideas for these really cool terrain tokens that looked completely different. That as a long time player, I wouldn't have come up with that. I just wouldn't have. I wouldn't think of it because I'm stuck in my ways. He came up with it really cool. Got some advice, changed it a little bit, but still really cool. Then someone else said, well, I made these kind of, minimalist markers, and they're just squares of blue plastic, green plastic, brown plastic. That's awesome too. And he was kind of like, well, it's like, no, that's awesome. Like, it's just, it gets the point across. I look at it, oh, that's water. Oh, that's hindering. Oh, that's blocking. Like, it's all different ideas. And I want more of it because that's how we get better. That's how the community gets better. That's how we get stronger. We don't need... This is when Joe becomes a preacher. We don't need whiz kids. They produce the game. They are to be respected for that. This is not a get the torches out. Like, they're cool. But, for the HeroClix community to be great, we don't need them. We need us. We need to be together. We can do a lot of this stuff. We can make the fun with us. It's not their job to make the fun. It's their job to make the game. It's our job to make the fun. So that's what we should do. We should take that, not, oh, this sucks. This sucks. There's no tournaments. This sucks. Okay, cool. Go get a pizza and sit in your room and say that, because I don't... Part of it's today, part of it's the type of year, part of it was just my birthday. I ain't got time for it, man. There are legit criticisms, and I will be the first to say them, and I can also offer solutions to them. I don't need somebody just coming in going, that sucks. This is terrible. I saw a video. This cracked me up so much. It was from when Kurt Cobain was alive, and it was at a Nirvana thing. It was MTV Unplugged. And somebody goes, MTV sucks! And Kurt just goes, then why are you here? Like, okay, cool. Clix sucks. Why are you here? Yeah. I would not... Here, perfect example. I don't care about My Hero Academia one bit. I would not buy one goddamn figure. I cursed, sorry. But I know people that would love that stuff. I know people that would eat that stuff alive, man. Like, oh man, My Hero Academia. Oh man. I know people that would lose their minds over Digimon. Not Pokemon. Digimon. They'd be like, this is awesome. Oh my God. Digimon? Yeah, let's go. Like, that's how you reach people. You reach people where they are. They're not going to come to you. If they were going to come to you, they already would have come to you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's just it with 3D printers now. Like, I judged and played in this game when there wasn't real prize support. When, like, I played in a tournament in the old days where it was you got the LEs as the prizes. And I judged when we got the release day OP kits. And that was what you had. You had release day OP kits. 3 or 4 figure, whatever. It's been a while, so I don't remember. But, you know, maps and figures. That's it. You better hope it lasts you until the next set. When they first started doing monthly OP kits, what a title shift that was. Oh my God. We're going to get all these new figures? Well, some of them are repaints. Okay, cool. Like, they're different dials. Like, cool. We get more prizing. This is great. So when people sit there and want to be like, well, WizKids isn't doing OP support. So, like, what am I supposed to do? Be a HeroClix judge. Figure it out. Do something. Get creative. Again, not even that. Nexusversary. I'm just figuring out stuff to give away. What's different? What's different? I mean, for ClixFuel, I gave away a dice cup. What's different? In-store credit's always an easy one, but you got to get the store on board for that. But yes, that is an avenue. Dice cups. Get some dice cups made. Etsy, people make dice cups. Jeremiah Peterson makes dice cups. He can't make everybody's dice cups, so I'm not slighting Jeremiah. It's just leave the poor man alone at some point. He needs to have some stuff from your own call. Yeah. Let me look over at all the prizes that I have. You know, it's just... And especially, like... I just saw the Thanos Shrine for like $120. Since he came out, because he was the old Infinity Gauntlet prizing, he's gone up and down. I've seen him at 300. I've seen him at 50. He keeps going up and down. Get a Thanos Shrine and run an event, because I bet you a bunch of your players either never got to play for him or don't have one. So, like, do the math. Do like a 2 or 3 month event so that, like, it's worth it for the store or you, if you are supplying the product, if you're supplying the prizing, if you're going in your pocket and buying that Thanos Shrine, figure it out so you get your money back. And here's this really cool thing. Like, and that's, so let's, as I've just been pontificating because you guys have been feeding me and I'm preaching. Formats outside 300 points. I'll come back to that actually. Formats outside 300 modern points. And the person asking that was asking for, you know, like big tournaments, you know, nationals, worlds, etc., WKOs. But it's important at your weekly venue. Don't just do 300 point modern. Don't. Like, people want, I mean, I know I've said this for years, so I feel like I'm repeating myself, but so many people don't know me. People want to play the figures that they own. And when I see it all the time in Rules Chat, like Rules Chat's been a perfect example to me. When new players get into the game, they don't just buy new product. Like, they go looking for stuff. You know, like, we live in a digital age. There's Amazon, there's eBay, there's the Facebook groups. Like, people buy team bases. I just saw the other day, someone's looking for the zombies that I have a whole bunch of because I love them. Yeah, that's a great thing to do too, Justin. I agree. But like, people buy old product, and people will use old product if you allow them to use old product. And if there is one, because some venues don't run with a judge, but like, as long as there's somebody that can properly translate the rules, because, you know, Thanos Shrine has terminology that's 10 years out of date. Doesn't mean you can't play it. Yes, I have supplied a document that translates it, but people don't want to read. So it's fine as long as at your local venue, there's a judge, there's an elder, there's an elder Clixman, there's somebody that can just be like, oh yeah, well, this is how it works now. Okay, cool. Like, people will play it, or people will figure it out. You know, it's sometimes we don't give ourselves or HeroClix players in general enough credit sometimes. Like, it's like I said, no one taught... I'm somewhat unique in this, but no one taught me how to play the game. I taught myself how to play the game. I taught myself how to play the game with a starter. I read the rulebook. That's how I learned how to play, and the PAC. That's how I learned how to play the game. I taught myself. People can do it. People do it. All the time. They have to be motivated to do it. And at the end of the day, if you're only motivated by prizing, you have a shelf life in this game. Because prizing runs out. And it doesn't matter. I have a factory set right next to me that I got when we won Team Worlds. It's Golden Age now. Well, it's Silver Age. It is Silver Age. But that was a whole lot of money when I first got it. Now it's a whole lot less. I have convention exclusives. Whole lot of money when I got them. Can't give some of them away now. Prizing, if prizing is what motivates you in this game, it only motivates you. Like, everybody likes to win stuff, and it's cool to win stuff. You have a shelf life. You have to have something else. You have to, whether it be team building, whether it be your friends, whether it be just something to do. Just, hey, this is a cool, easy thing to do on a Sunday afternoon. Get to roll some dice, push some things around on a map. It's got to be something else. And so, yes, I got to run, and I made sure, because I wanted to. At the Clix Cup last year, we ran a 400 Silver Age tournament. And people seemed to love it. People seemed really receptive. I heard multiple people who I see at Origins, who I see at Worlds, who I see at WKOs, who I see travel around, come up and be like, thank you for doing something more than 300 Modern. Like, thank you for doing something different. And I'm me, so I really did it differently. But, like, the players want it. The players... Exactly, Emily. I miss you, too. Two isn't, I already said I miss, Jay said he missed me and I miss him. Yeah, Trinity's sin. A legacy Carter. I know what you meant, but I'm giving you a hell pike. But people who, like, the players want it. If WizKids isn't going to do it, that's what we're here for then. Like, I got ideas. And if we could all play, if we could all get along, there's some really cool stuff I think we can do as a community. But it has to be for the fun of it. Because anything else, when it's for money or whatever else, it gets complicated and stuff gets sideways. And again, just to clarify, because we've already talked about assumptions, I'm not running anybody down. I'm never going to run a money tournament. That's how I feel. If other people want to, that's on them. They can do it. Good for them. Go with Cthulhu. But that's cool. It's just, but so that's where, if we were to get some kind of thing going with multiple people across the country, possibly internationally. Like, it has to be something beyond just prizing or money. That's the things that we incentivize other people for. We have to be driven by, like, this is a fun, cool way to get together. This is a fun, cool way to meet new people and see our friends that play this game that we all love, you know? And it has to be more than just this one bucket. WizKids may never run a Golden Age game ever again. Fine. Like, that's their choice. We should. We should run Golden Age games. We should make Golden Age figures matter. Because, yeah. Sorry, when a comment pops up, it stops me for a minute. But because, like, that's part of why legacy cards have tumbled the way they did. Legacy cards are a great idea. I love legacy cards. I love brick incentives. I love them. But so many of these figures, people don't have them because they didn't matter. Like, you can't create a game element to bring old stuff into the game when for 20 years you've said old stuff doesn't matter. And for those that don't know, that weren't around, like, one of the big things with, like, OG WizKids was that things weren't going to retire. Or at least, I think at one point they said they weren't going to do retirement. And then that's why it was Golden Age instead of retirement. It wasn't that it was retired, it was just in a different format now. But the big figures, which I got to find him. The original Sentinel, the original Sinestro, they were big figures. They were never going to retire. They were always going to be legal. And then it changed because it's a collectible game and that's what happens. And different companies bought it and it's fine. But we had 20 years of figures. And some characters haven't been made in 15 years. Until Puppet Master got remade in 20 years. But, like, sometimes, and again, we talked about Turtles. I got to play Silver if I want to play my Turtles. If I want to play my favorite Turtles, I got to play Golden. The first Turtle set is my favorite. That's not Silver Age legal. So I have to go Golden to play my favorite set. And that's fine as long as I can do it. As long as I can do it somewhere. And we used to I was always very aggressive with let's play different point totals. Once a month, once every 2 months, weekly venue. Let's do a 800 point game. Let's do a 1,000 point game. Let's get nuts and do a 1,500 point game. Once we did something where it was like, how did I do it? I can't remember, but it was like build a team. And we took the Shield Helicarrier maps from Nick Fury. We laid them all out. And we had a giant, crazy multiplayer. We had like 10 players on one map just fighting each other with standard size figures. Like, no, like, oh, hey, I'm going to bring my Colossal. No, just standard size figures. I've always been big because when you play something at 800 points, when you play something at 1,000 points, you see what it can do differently. You see how the mechanics work differently. And you view the game and figures differently. Like, certain figures will always behave a certain way in a 300 point game. That's why that's the balance point, because that's what they're designed for. Like, the old trap was a figure, if it was over 300 points, that was never meant to be played in a tournament, like a competitive tournament, because it's over 300 points. But something that's really good at 200 points might be terrible at 400 points, but then great again at 600 points. And that's where you really have to learn the mechanics, because it's not just, 3 actions, leadership makes it 4. Okay, cool. Here's what I do. TK up, double perplex, attack. Sure. Like, it's really hard to have an alpha strike in a 500 point match. You can still do it. But, like, the odds of you just knocking out the tent pole of a team at 500 points is really hard. So you learn how to play differently. You learn how to, like, okay, I can't just rely on an alpha. Let me play something different. And again, this goes into everything. This goes into bringing new people in, playing different ways, expanding what the game is. Not just saying, 10 turns and it's over. That's the game. I mean, sometimes, yeah, that's the game. Doesn't have to be. You can get, I'm trying to think. I mean, technically I've played a game where we didn't have a time limit, so we played for 6 hours, and it was really annoying, and I would never do that again. But we did it. I learned something. Oh, is that all the original? That's all the original topics. Okay, so then we talk about marketing. Let's go back to marketing. There's a lot of things they can do that they should do that they haven't done. And maybe they never will. I was really excited when set posters came back. Set posters are a super easy way to promote the game and keep people excited. Super easy. Super easy. When the set posters would come out, the last couple sets, and got shared on Facebook, people got excited. Oh, hey, look, there's this. That's not included. This is blah, 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 blah. And then we skipped it for War of the Realms. And the one for Disney Plus is a lot smaller. And it just feels like that's something that now we're getting away from. Like, and I did my part. I tried to support it. I would literally get one printed. It would get hung up at the store. And then I'd give it away on Nexus, on the Patreon. Because it's a cool, non-tournament thing. It's like, oh, here's this. I mean, Ricky, I know, has old set posters from the old days. Aries, I know, has tracked down things like the Coming of Star Wars event. They're cool memorabilia. They're cool collectibles that aren't just figures and that can be displayed. And so, like, if you have it, I am here, as you can tell, in my Clix cave. If I had a set poster to put up and somebody comes over, oh, what's that? Oh, that's HeroClix. They would have other clues. But, you know, it's a way to do it. At the store, oh, what's this? Oh, it's HeroClix. It's a conversation starter. So I'm very disappointed in that. In that vein, I have considered, and I may still do it, start making set posters for older sets where we have the digital renders. I have a really, really fun idea for one that is near and dear to my heart, literally right now. You know, so we can do that. There's cheap ways to do digital advertising. They are, to their credit, they have made attempts of sending product to, you know, influencers, geek influencers. I mean, they're doing it a lot with the D&D stuff, with the minis. They've done it with HeroClix. That's the step. But, you know, a lot of times the people don't know what they're opening, and they're just like, oh, this is HeroClix. Like, they're not, like, it's not Scott Porter. Scott Porter's one thing. He knows the game. Whatever people's feelings are about Porter and the unboxings, at least he's played the game and he has an understanding of the game. And, like, he engages in his own way with the community. Gail Simone, love her. She don't know what HeroClix is. Like, she knows it exists. She has it. I'm sure she's played it now because she's gotten sent some things. But, like, before the pandemic, besides maybe a line item on a royalty check, she didn't know what HeroClix was. So, you know, it's not just marketing. Because somebody said, whoa, what if you had, like, Henry Cavill say, oh, HeroClix is great. It's not simple endorsements. Like, people aren't going to go out and try a minis game at a store that might not exist where they live because a celebrity said it's cool. Like, we've moved way past that in life. And like I just said, there's multiple barriers there. Like, there may not be a venue to play HeroClix within an hour. Okay. I'm going to drive an hour because Henry Cavill said, this is cool. No, it's not going to happen. I know, I just had it there. I should put things away. But no, it's marketing's not easy, but it's more about putting in the effort. And at the end of the day, it's more about the licenses. You know, I found out about action figures because it's a license that I enjoy. And so then some Instagram post or some Twitter post or a friend that knows I'm into it is like, hey, have you seen this? Hey, have you seen that they're doing an Ultimate Mutagen Man? Or Muckman? Not Mutagen Man. They did do Mutagen Man. An Ultimate Muckman? And I'm like, hell yeah. And then I have them sitting out in my living room. That's what you do. That's why, and, you know, again, the maybe the conventional wisdom for a lot of people is, well, yeah, that's why we do Marvel and DC, because it's really big right now. Yeah, which means there's a lot of stuff that's Marvel and DC. So you're competing for attention. There's video games. There's, the hell is it, the Battle Worlds. There's other miniature games. There's board games. There's movies. There's action figures. There's Rule 34. There's all kinds of things. So you want to go where there's not. He-Man's got a little moment. He-Man would be nice. He-Man probably can't happen because it's Mattel and it's a competing license and blah, 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 blah. But that's the kind of stuff you want to look for. You know? People say put ads in comic books. You can. They used to. But comic book advertising is different now. Like, I still read comics. I see the ads that are in them. It ain't like it was. And price affects that too. I mean, $17 booster. Okay. Maybe people can get behind that. $70 starter? That's a tougher pill to swallow. You want an easy in. And that is part of marketing. Like, having an easy on-ramp is part of marketing. Even though it is a product, even though it is, gameplay, it's also part of marketing. The easier it is to get into something, the more likely someone's going to try it. And that's why I say, I would love to see some form of modern HCO, HeroClix Online. Not Roll20. Roll20 is decentralized. Roll20 is what we've done to survive. And good, respect. But that's not what the path to thriving. And that is something where we need WizKids. It's their IP. They have the agreements. I saw somebody say, oh, well, there's this whole Pokemon group on Tabletop Simulator. And I'm sure that Nintendo cares more than WizKids. And I'm sure he's right. Doesn't care more than Disney. And Disney's the one that's going to shut down Tabletop Simulator, not WizKids. WizKids might try to be nice about it and reach out to somebody. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Disney going pardon? Oh, you're using our IP without paying? Oh, you can go away forever. Disney sued a kindergarten class. Disney don't care about you geeks. And, they're not completely wrong. I still think it could have been handled better, but, it's a dog-eat-dog world. So, this is not the way I thought this was going to go. But I also didn't think I was going to do this by myself, so there's some things that kind of, The state of the game is rough. It's rough. The community's I'll say this, and I know I'll probably get flack for it. Community's in a rough spot. Community ain't great. There's bright spots. There's bright spots in the community. There's people that make me real happy. No, Jay, don't be sorry. It's literally not your fault. It's just me musing. There's some bright spots. There's some people that really make me happy. There's some people that are doing some stuff that I'm like, yeah, man, that's awesome. And then there's some people that just make it so I don't want to engage. And ain't nobody doing more work right now than me, as far as this game goes. Sorry. So, community's not great. Tournament scene's dead. But that's fine, because it will come back. I have no doubt. People want to play. And it's just giving people an excuse to play. So when the time is right, it'll come back. But it's healthier for the community not to pretend like it's great right now. Oh my God, there's this whole meta. And no, there's not. There's no meta right now. There's teams. There's teams amongst the people that still choose to play. And in that microcosm, there is literally a meta. But somebody could build a team tomorrow that changes it all. Because it's so small. Price. It's not great, but I can't blame them. I wish it was cheaper, but at the end of the day, here's the real truth. I don't wish HeroClix was cheaper. I wish I made more money. I wish I made more money. I wish Brad made more money. I wish Ricky, just these are people that I know the names of. I just wish everybody made more money. Because that's the truth of it. Inflation is a thing. Prices go up. That's life. The problem is that our wages don't. And I'm going to stop there because that's not what this video is about. The rules are rough, man. Rules are not in good shape at all. Conceptually, maybe. Like how design knows things are supposed to work, sure, maybe that's tight. What the rules say that we can show to these new players who do still keep coming in, it's rough, man. It's real rough. I may do a video just reading a Infinity Challenge rulebook just to show you where it's like, yeah, this stuff's goofy, but guess what? It actually explains how to do stuff. Seize the means of HeroClix production. You got a ways to go, Brad. I know you're trying. And it's good for you. You got a good heart. But yeah, just rules, like, I really lament the state of the rules because they were there. The rules were there in 2017. All they needed was some polishing and some refinement. Like to take that 2017 rulebook / comp and turn it into the comp we have now and keep that, you know, that core rulebook. Oh, chef's kiss. And instead, we got what we got. Which, for those that don't know, because not everybody sees, I had a new player in HRC literally say, I should pull the quote up, I've never played a game with a rule book where things aren't explained. I've never played a game with a rule book where you need to have been playing for the last 15 years to understand what's going on. That's a new player. That's not a elder Clixman. That's not a jaded veteran. That's somebody coming to the game new going, this doesn't explain anything. It needs to explain things. Like, because then when they come in, the grizzled veterans, love you, Jay, the grizzled veterans, the jaded elder Clixman can go, oh, here's where it says this. Here's where you find this. This is why it works the way it works. And they go, okay, cool. I learned something. People don't mind learning things. Sorry, I mean, they don't. People are happy to learn the game that they are enjoying playing, but I think that's it. State of the game as far as IPs, I mean, I'm not happy with it. But, you know, it's complicated. I know, we're kind of coming down. Unless somebody else has something they really want me to talk about. I've been going on for like, if Ricky's starting work in 10 minutes, I've been going on for like an hour. So I'm happy to go on for an hour. I'm happy to answer any other questions. But yeah, I think we've come to a natural stopping point. But yeah, I mean, I guess to summarize, it's not the worst it's been, but it can be better. And we can make it better. And I really want us to make it better. I want us. Not me. I'm tired. I'm old. I can't do everything. I wish I could. I've said this. This is something I'll say publicly. I don't care. I wish I could sit down with every new player and teach them how to play HeroClix. I wish I could sit down with every judge and be like, this is how you got to do stuff, man. Just to take care of people. I can't. No one can. It's just not, unless that was literally my job. And there's no way WizKids is paying me to do that. It'd be really fun, though. Hey, guys. You see this video? Let's talk. They don't want to talk to me. They don't like me. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I had some big numbers there for a while. I was like, oh, boy. I stopped looking because I was like, I got to keep talking. I can't let it get in my head. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for playing the game. Thank you for following Nexus. I got a Patreon. You can go over there. I'm going to be posting something about the Patreon soon. Let's make it better. Let's make it better. Do good.